Chelsea's ongoing battle with Liverpool over Rio Ngumoha has once again taken center stage in English football, casting a shadow of controversy over what should be remembered as a story of breathtaking talent and youthful ambition. At just 16 years of age, Ngumoha has already etched his name into Premier League history, becoming one of the youngest ever scorers in the competition. Yet the circumstances of his move from Stamford Bridge to Anfield continue to stir bitterness, resentment, and legal wrangling. His rise to prominence has been nothing short of meteoric, but behind the scenes, the fallout between two of England's biggest clubs is a reminder that footballing fairy tales often come wrapped in layers of politics, paperwork, and power struggles. Ngumoha, a winger blessed with natural flair, pace, and the kind of composure in front of goal that belies his tender years, was once the jewel of Chelsea's youth academy. London-born, highly regarded, and tipped by many within the Blues system to be a future first-team regular, his departure last summer to Liverpool came as a hammer blow. It wasn't just the fact that Chelsea lost him, but the manner in which they did. Under Premier League regulations, players under the age of 18 can move freely provided certain conditions are met. And Liverpool, keen to invest in the next generation, were meticulous in following the 5-step criteria required. On paper, the deal was legitimate. In spirit, Chelsea felt betrayed. And when Ngumoha's last gasp winner against Newcastle United sent Liverpool fans into delirium on Monday night, the frustrations at Stamford Bridge were reignited with full force. For Chelsea, the sense of loss is profound. Here was a boy they had nurtured, guided, and seen blossom into a generational prospect. He had spearheaded their under-16 side to a national title, earning individual accolades and rave reviews along the way. Coaches who worked closely with him described a prodigy who could glide past opponents effortlessly, a wide forward who combined raw athleticism with sharp tactical awareness. Former captain John Terry, who had briefly overseen the teenager in Chelsea's setup, famously remarked, "The boy is and will be a top player." That such a talent could be allowed to walk away for what many within the club perceive as a meager compensation package remains. For Chelsea, a sore point that cuts to the very heart of their academy philosophy. The bitterness has since evolved into open hostility. Reports have emerged that Chelsea, furious at losing Ngumoha, have introduced stricter internal rules regarding academy protection and, more dramatically, banned Liverpool scouts from attending matches involving their youth teams. Such a move is unprecedented between two clubs of this stature, yet it underlines the severity of the feud. Behind the post-match euphoria of Ngumoha's heroics, legal discussions are unfolding quietly but intensely. The Professional Football Compensation Committee, PFCC, the body tasked with adjudicating disputes of this nature, has been asked to determine how much Liverpool must pay Chelsea for their acquisition. Until that ruling arrives, the two clubs remain locked in what some insiders have described as all-out war. The tribunal process is not new to English football. A precedent was set in 2019 when Liverpool signed Harvey Elliott from Fulham under similar circumstances. Then only 16, Elliott was recognized as one of the brightest prospects in the country. Fulham, outraged at losing their academy gem, pushed for significant compensation. The PFCC eventually ruled in their favor, awarding the club a guaranteed £1.5 million, with the potential of add-ons raising the total to £4.3 million. That figure, while substantial. Liverpool, of course, see things differently. For them, Ngumoha's move was carried out by the book, and the teenager's success is testament not only to his talent, but also to the faith and opportunities the club have afforded him. Manager Arne Slot has shown remarkable courage in integrating the youngster, refusing to let his age deter him from trusting his instincts. Ngumoha featured in pre-season, impressing against seasoned opposition with goals that highlighted both technical brilliance and mental resilience. When the chance came in the FA Cup against Accrington Stanley, he delivered again, slotting seamlessly into the rhythm of senior football. And then came Newcastle. Introduced late into a frenetic contest that saw Liverpool squander a 2-goal cushion before clawing back into contention, the 16-year-old stepped up with the kind of decisive finish that turns promise into prophecy. The roar from the away end at St. James's Park was deafening, but the louder noise may well have come from West London boardrooms where frustration boiled over once more. In his post-match reflections, Ngumoha was humble yet mature beyond his years. "I'm buzzing. I'm so happy to score, especially the winner. It's a special feeling. It was crazy. Slot looked at me and pointed at me, like, get on, get ready, you just have to come on and make an impact. Luckily, and thank God that I did that. As the ball came, I just thought, I back myself to score. The fans, I heard them screaming my name. That's a sensational moment." These words captured the essence of a teenager living the dream, but they also carried the tone of someone grounded, someone aware that the noise around him could quickly become overwhelming. "You can't get too carried away," he continued, "because at the end of the day I probably do that finish 100 times a day on the training ground. With the fans backing you there, it's just crazy. The wider football community is watching with keen interest. Ngumoha's trajectory appears to mirror those of other prodigious talents who broke onto the scene as teenagers, names like Wayne Rooney, James Milner, and more recently Jude Bellingham. Each carried the weight of expectation, and each navigated the treacherous balance between hype and reality. For Liverpool fans, there is genuine excitement that their club may have unearthed another superstar, a player capable of defining an era. For Chelsea supporters, there is the nagging pain of what if, compounded by the knowledge that they invested heavily in his development, only to see the fruits of that labor enjoyed elsewhere. The Premier League, caught in the middle, finds itself once again in the position of referee between two footballing giants. The PFCC's eventual ruling will set a precedent for future cases, determining how clubs value and protect their young players in an era where the competition for talent is fiercer than ever. Factors under consideration include the player's age, playing record, duration at his previous club, the relative status of the two sides, and the terms offered by both Chelsea and Liverpool. Each of these will weigh heavily on the eventual outcome, but the stakes are clear. Chelsea want justice, Liverpool want validation, and Ngumoha just wants to play football. The intrigue surrounding his situation has also influenced Liverpool's transfer strategy. With Luis Diaz departing for Bayern Munich in the summer, there was speculation that the Reds would look to reinforce their left side with established names such as Bradley Barcola or Malik Fofana. Instead, club chiefs chose to hold their nerve, believing that Ngumoha's emergence negated the need for external signings. Such faith is rare in modern football, where immediate results often trump long-term planning. Yet Liverpool's stance has not only accelerated Ngumoha's development, but also sent a clear message. The pathway from academy to first team remains alive and thriving at Anfield. It is worth remembering that Ngumoha only turned 17 this week, meaning he is still technically a schoolboy stepping onto some of the grandest stages in world football. The challenges ahead are many: physical development, mental resilience, consistency of performance. These are the hurdles that will define whether he fulfills his enormous potential or merely flashes briefly as a wonder kid. The Liverpool coaching staff are acutely aware of this, and efforts are being made to protect him from the suffocating weight of expectation. Nevertheless, the signs are hugely encouraging. In pre-season, he demonstrated fearlessness against Yokohama F. Marinos and Athletic Bilbao, scoring goals that oozed confidence. Against Newcastle, he showed ice-cool composure. In interviews, he exudes humility and maturity. It is a cocktail of qualities that suggests a player built not just for fleeting moments, but for sustained brilliance. For Chelsea, however, none of this makes the pill easier to swallow. Their frustration stems not only from losing a player of such caliber, but also from what they perceive as systemic loopholes in youth transfers. They argue that the compensation structures do not adequately reflect the investment clubs make in developing these talents. Facilities, coaching, education, mentoring, all of these cost millions, yet clubs risk losing their brightest gems for sums that, in the grand scheme of Premier League finances, are relatively minor. To them, Ngumoha's case is emblematic of a wider issue in English football, one that needs urgent reform to protect the integrity of youth development programs. It is no surprise, therefore, that the Blues have taken such an aggressive stance, lobbying behind the scenes for changes that might prevent a repeat of this saga in future. As the legal battle rumbles on, the footballing narrative continues unabated. Ngumoha has already made history, joining an exclusive list of players under 17 to score in the Premier League. He has already won over Liverpool supporters, who see in him a fearless youngster unafraid of the big occasion. He has already forced pundits to sit up and take notice, with many predicting that he could play a pivotal role in Arne Slot's evolving Liverpool project. And he has already reignited one of football's oldest rivalries, adding another layer of animosity to the Chelsea-Liverpool dynamic. The coming months will be decisive. The PFCC ruling will set the financial terms of his transfer once and for all. Ngumoha's performances will determine whether the hype transforms into sustained excellence. Chelsea's response will dictate whether relations between the clubs thaw or remain icy. And through it all, a teenager barely old enough to drive will continue to lace up his boots, step onto the pitch, and attempt to write the next chapter of his extraordinary journey. In the end, this saga is not just about contracts, compensation, or courtrooms. It is about the magic of football, the unpredictability of talent, and the way a single moment, a goal in the 100th minute at St. James's Park, can change everything. For Rio Ngumoha, the world is at his feet. For Chelsea, there are lessons to be learned. For Liverpool, there is joy in the present and hope for the future. And for the rest of us, there is the privilege of watching a story unfold that could define English football for years to come.